The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackass. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of Jackass. And
well, we could say WildBoyz. We could say
baby.
WildBoyz.
I screwed everything up. Trainwreck.
No, we're just three lifelong fans of all the shows, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, and broken bones.
And if it wasn't spoiled for you already, we are doing the second episode of WildBoyz. We're back on the WildBoyz train. We did Viva La Bam last week, and we're just going to be doing a little bit of back and forth between the two.
I love
till we bang out
going
those seasons.
back and forth. Sorry.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah?
Chris, I gotta say, well done.
You're
Good job there.
I've never heard that before.
No, you actually did. You did a good job there. That was
So
well
does
done.
that mean you guys weren't playing
don't
jokes? I mean, they were actually bad this whole entire time?
Yeah.
Like, I thought you guys were just
Dude.
always going to say it was bad.
No.
So,
No, you usually fuck
I
this
feel
up.
like you have
did
the
a decent
worst
job
spot
there.
in the intro rotation because you're always under the
Wow.
spotlight. Like, you could clearly see that I gave no shits about my intro, but I knew that it wouldn't matter because by the time we got to you, Mikey was going to comment on it, and no one would even remember that I fucked. Like, whatever.
it's a tough gig, man, because you just
No,
don't
it
know
is.
how to come in, you know? So you want to say what you say, and then it changes, and then you got to somehow segue the date in. Like, for example,
Yeah.
today, this episode aired on November 2nd of the year 2003. And actually one of my favorite shows, comedy TV shows of all time, this was actually the first day that it actually premiered. What show do you think that might be in 2003? A really smart
Curb
comedy.
Your Enthusiasm?
No, but I did like that show.
Trailer Park Boys.
No.
A smart,
Smart.
gotta
I
be
said
close.
smart,
Arrested
smart.
Development?
Well,
That's not a smart company.
Yes, exactly.
Oh wow! I
Arrested
thought you were,
Development.
Kinda smart.
aired
I thought
this
you were
day.
going ironic with the smart comment, but
No.
that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. It's a great show.
Great show.
it is one of the best, the funniest shows of all time. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
for sure.
Boys, I was in a bit of a mood for this episode, season 1, episode 2.
Okay.
I've been really, really hot and bothered to play some Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation.
Oh,
and then when
okay.
I saw we're going to
Okay.
Alaska, baby, I was just saying, that's a sign. That's a sign right there. I got a bit of a Solid Snake going on right now myself, if you know what I mean.
Hey, I like that.
I gotta
yeah.
say, this intro is still good. Totally not even sick of this yet at all. You guys?
The song
No,
is
the song.
incredible.
So
It just hypes me up every time. And I love the way they actually introduce things. You have like the very smart BBC, like almost like what's his face from
David
like
Attenborough.
David Attenborough, and then they come in and just like this one particularly killed me as Steve-O's giving this really intelligent, trying to make a serious speech. Pontius just has this strongman
Yeah,
pose. And
I love it.
how hard would it be to try and do that serious thing when you just see beside you, Pontius is just like looking sexy as ever and just doing that strongman pose. Like, what a good way to intro the show.
Doing his best Bam Bam impression. It was great. By the way, did you guys pick up on the little Easter egg in the introduction this time along?
What was that?
Well, he says, and boy, is it going to be wild. And if you flip those around, it's WildBoyz.
I have.
I mean, come
I
on.
have to talk about this with you. I'm glad you brought it up, Mikey. He says that it's a wild pun again. And
Yes.
you can't see this at home in my notes, but I did write wild puns with a Z. And
Hey, that's nice. I
is
like
this
that.
a thing? Are they going to do this like every episode? I thought that was just Chris being an asshole and he would do it all the time. But is this a thing? Like, is that where you got this from?
What, the Wild
they're,
Boys?
they're always throwing wild into things and, doing these bad wild
I didn't know,
puns,
but
you know?
I just thought I just said no one's wilder than the Wild Boys every opportunity
say
I
that,
possibly get.
yeah.
Do you know what? There was also an underlying theme to this episode, and it was really weird to me for some reason. But if you actually go and look back at how many times everything's about for the kids, for the little kids, like they say it in like 9 different places, like, and it's just kind of weird that they keep going back to that joke. But
Yeah.
I liked
like
it.
it.
So yeah, it definitely did its job.
And I got to take a quick sidebar here. I'm on like fucking high alert mode now. Before we started the podcast, we were ambushing each other with D's nuts jokes. And every time Chris starts talking, I think he's winding up for one. I just get like anxious and tense. It's like, it's coming.
I'd be more careful about Mikey. Mikey's a sneaky fuck with those. He like hook, line, and sinkered me, and it was like a long, drawn out situation we weren't even making these jokes for the last like year, but he just hooked me in with it really good. So yeah, Mikey's a little more creative with these
I get
jokes.
conniving with them. I'm an evil genius, or maybe not genius, but I'm definitely evil with it. I play the long game. I play the long con
for sure.
long game. Yeah.
All right. Gray Wolves, boys. Who's at show of hands? Who likes Gray Wolves? Gray Wolves.
I fucking love
Okay.
wolves. I love wolves.
Do you know what's so funny? So the reason why we recorded a little bit late. We had our episodes out. I was away on a hunting trip. And one morning, we're out there and we heard all these wolves howling, and we're stuck in we had to walk into the bush in darkness, and we're sitting there waiting, and it was so creepy. And then after we were telling the story when we came back, and one of the guys is like, well, no one in history has ever actually gotten attacked by a wolf. And I literally said, actually, that's not true. Steve-O got attacked by a wolf. I remember it in an episode, and I literally, this was like 4 days ago, not knowing this was in this episode, and I brought the story up. It was absolutely hilarious how that actually worked out time-wise.
Yeah, dude. Totally. So we're here to basically teach these wolves how to eat humans. That's Steve-O doing God's work right there. Gets a couple of nicks on the skin. He's carrying around some raw chicken. These things, they fucking, you get in their face, they're going to bite. They're just hungry after all. But, I mean, now, boys, while watching this, I just couldn't help but think, now, much like once upon a time in 1993 when Corey met Topanga, meat meets butt.
I fucking love Topanga.
Steve-O.
I would eat her ass so hard.
So speaking of eating ass,
meeting butt.
Steve-O put the raw chicken in his bum cheeks. Meat meets butt. I tried. God damn it. These
it works.
Indeed fuzzy friendly creatures. But man, I don't know. Trying to get your butt chomped off, Steve-O. It's pretty risky business. Risky business there. Buddy.
It is kind of like setting them up to fail. This feels like a real Catherine Zeta-Jones situation. This is entrapment all over again. Like he's forcing these wolves to attack him. I love it as well how he sets up, let's teach these peaceful animals to eat humans because it's fun. It's just like such a Steve-O comment, just like, hey, let's ruin this entire civilization of animals.
Because
no
one
I
could
think it
ever
would be
say
cool
that
to
they've
do.
never attacked a human being before, right?
Exactly,
Like that was the whole
exactly.
premise of this. And it's funny because I remembered this from a while ago and actually brought it up to hunting people. But I didn't really give them the synopsis of what was going on. So maybe they're like, oh shit, maybe wolves do attack people, which, WildBoyz, you got to do a little bit better job. This is all about the animals.
It's also I think it's important to note that this episode came out in 2003, and it was a scant 8 years later that The Grey came out. So it only took them 8 years to really get a taste for that human meat.
That's true. That was a scary movie.
It was a great movie.
So, in 2021, you might still want to eat that ass, Chris. I took a quick peek. She's
oh, did you? She's looking
she's
good.
Looking pretty good for how old she must.
I was kind of hoping.
Now.
I was kind of hoping that she didn't look good, so I actually stood a chance. Like I was just like, let me live my fantasy from back in the day, and like I don't even care if she's like fucking 400 pounds, whatever, out of shape, out of looking ragged down. I could still say I hooked up with Topanga.
Yeah.
But if she's still looking good, then I don't really think I have a chance.
She's
anymore,
only 40. She's only 40 right now. So I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, I like 40-year-olds. A little cougars instead of gray wolves. We get some cougars, baby.
Instead of gray wolves,
AKA 4 years older than I am, but I could still call them a cougar.
Well, boys, I don't know about you, but something smells a little fishy, and I don't know, Chris. Maybe it's the salmon. Maybe it's the 40.
It's actually pronounced
salmon,
salmon, as Jadakiss likes to call it.
salmon.
You never heard that line? A plate of salmon.
Look,
Oh, really?
when you're surrounded by millions of salmon, spawning season and whatnot, it's going to get a little stanky. Pontius is just covered in salmon. This is like one of these extreme close-up underwater action sea cameras right here. This is a very year 2000s shot we're getting. It feels very, very extreme. Those teeth, though, did you guys notice that those things, do they have teeth? I don't know salmon will. They look pretty fucking sharp.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never seen them on them. Like, that's why I actually noticed that as well. Like, not to that level, at least. Like, usually they got those little weird curved beaks, but like they're throwing up the crip sign the whole
I had to
time.
fucking rewind for a second. So I was like, am I looking at piranhas? What the fuck did they say this was? And they said it was salmon. I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, there you go.
No, I've seen it. I think as well. Salmon, yeah.
Sorry.
I've definitely seen the teeth on there. Obviously, compared to the bears, though, those teeth will hold no weight, no water. Pontius, though, like doing his best, really delicate commentary here, and saying one of nature's tragedies. It makes me want to cry, and throwing the fish in the air, just tossing it away.
He's like scooped him up.
Oh God. Oh man.
It's fun because like that even today feels like something that you would do, and someone behind the scenes would be like, we can't show that, someone's gonna get pissed off, just redo it again and don't throw the fish. I like that we can just get him like hucking a fish in the air. The fish is fucking fine.
I think, you know who would really bother that is like pet PETA. They could PETA on these nuts.
I knew you were loading up for one.
PETA on these nuts. Damn
it!
it.
I was trying. I had a bit of a lapse there in the last segment because I was trying really hard to think up of a Topanga these nuts, but I just couldn't. I know there's something there, but
it just that's it, man. Just Topanga on my nuts all fucking day. You don't even need to make a joke out of that.
All right,
that nice wide mouth she had. Ooh, Lord, she could fucking gargle both ballsies.
Yeah.
I don't.
Sorry, I'm getting a little aggressive today.
I just want to pang on these balls. These nuts all day.
I like where you're going there. A little musical number. I respect that.
Yeah. I mean, Chris can go vulgar. I'm gonna bring it back to radio hour.
It's pretty much just the way it works with us.
How about
I don't have the wherewithal to think of anything smart, so I just go right for the fucking jugular.
Chris, if you're a nut man, if you like a big pair of nuts, then how about a moose up close and personal? Because Manny is here to research moose behavior.
We're being a little bit. This is a little raw for Chris because he just came back from the hunt and he was expecting to have a moose under his belt at this point, and he doesn't have one.
We've been in the bush for 12 guys for like 12 hours a day for 2 years now. It's not easy, and by the time I finally do get that moose, it's going to be about $150 a bite.
Yeah, basically.
With all the money and time you put into this thing, but yeah, you know what? It's nice to see them, even if I had to watch them in Jackass and. You know, he got to live another year. Poor guy.
True.
Yeah.
Jay, have you seen a moose in person?
I have. I have a quick moose story. I was driving through Creston, British Columbia one time on a very windy mountain road, and out of the ditch, I swear to God, like I didn't even see them appear, but suddenly a herd of 4 or 5 moose run across the street, and I was driving this little shitty like 90 Toyota, something like it's an old Toyota Camry, but anyway, Camry or Corolla, it doesn't fucking matter. Why am I trying to justify it? It was a piece of shit, but these cars were really low to the ground. Like it's when you're sitting there in the fucking driver's seat looking up at these things towering in front of you, like they just ran out right in front, and I managed to swerve and get behind them. But if I would have been like a second late or anything, I just would have been fucking trampled out of that. It is a sight. Like you can't even. It's like seeing a fucking tank roll across the street.
People don't realize how big they actually are. They're basically like North American elephants. Like they're fucking enormous, and especially a fully grown one. You see them in pictures, but if you've never seen one in person, you almost can't imagine how enormous they actually are. It's scary.
You know, it's funny when in this later on we go through in the skit. There's like the kind of breeding type method that they're trying to work out. And Manny doesn't really... basically, I'll just give the quick wherewithal. They had these big antlers out there. They're walking around the moose. Pontius was using it as a coat rack, throwing
that was
on
so
there, which
fucking
was fucking
funny.
Hilarious, right?
When he strips and he's throwing his clothes onto the moose's antler, like, what a fuck you to evolution on a universal level, but it was so fucking funny.
Eventually, Manny goes out with the big antlers, and the moose... he's like, I think this is a mating thing, man. He's like, I don't really deal with mating things. When I was out there, we were sitting in an area, and I had a little portable stool, and you just leave it because you have to trek far into the woods, so you just kind of leave it in your spot that you're hanging out in. And we had a trail cam near there. We looked at the trail cam, and the one day we didn't go out in the morning because we decided to go somewhere else. A moose walked by and sniffed my fucking chair and pissed on it.
Ooh.
And everyone was making fun like the moose wanted to fuck me the whole time. Like, what am I eating? Like, what sense do I have? What kind of girly sense do I have coming out of my asshole that this fucking moose is trying to basically dominate me?
Dude.
So I'm glad I wasn't there that day because I might have fucking actually, what Pontius is talking about, get fucked by a moose. And as he said, amazing. No man could take a tallywhacker that big.
Oh.
No, it always goes back to dicks on WildBoyz too. It always ends up talking about dicks. And tallywhacker is the word of the day on this one for
Just
sure.
like cock work, baby.
I find this one. I actually laughed. Like I did laugh really hard when Pontius was stripping and throwing his clothes onto the antlers. But the funniest part about this is when they're all leaving the pen and the moose is chasing them out of the pen. They just walk out of the door and don't close the door because the moose has dumbass fucking antlers that prevent it from walking through a wide open space because it's a stupid animal with pointless horns out of its head. It's really fucking funny and very unfortunate. All it has to do is like kind of angle its head a little bit, but it still can't really comprehend that, and that just made me laugh. I don't know if I feel bad for it or myself or what, but that was a good one.
If you had a tallywhacker that big, you never have to feel bad for something like that.
Yeah, Chris, that story about the moose piss, though, that I think that's probably better than anything that really happens here in this segment. So thank you for spicing things up a little bit for us. But hey, from moose to reindeer, maybe the cousin of the moose. I don't know. You figure it out. But it's the cutest.
Yeah, moose is the largest of the deer family.
Oh, there you go, Mr. Science over here. You're the new science guy now.
Hey, baby, take that, Chris.
Yeah, that rattled
I
me.
love how, Pontius here, he needs to impress these reindeer, so he's trimming his bikini line, and he says he doesn't want to look like some furry gorilla on TV, or, again, in front of the kids. He even did the gooch. He was straight squat, nice form, too, and he's shaving that gooch down, so there you go.
I actually took a few notes because I really need to do a little bit of trimming down there, and I was actually like, "That's a really good strategy,
good technique." Yeah, for bonus points,
I don't have one of those like lawnmower 2000s by whatever companies those are, but I think I got to invest.
Yeah, dude, for bonus points, just squat over the toilet. You can flush when you're done. No mess. There you go.
Ooh,
that's I've incorporated that style in my grooming regimen.
I've only shaved that area like 2 times since my 36 years, so I got to learn a few tips. It's been a fucking jungle down there.
Yeah, got a real fur coat situation going on.
This was a good one in terms of reminding me of Jackass. It had this Jackass flair to it because basically Steve-O dresses up as a reindeer or as an elf, and the reindeer pulls him on his little sled. But you know what this one was missing is Wee Man. I really wanted Wee Man in this one. I feel like he would have been so good in it.
I love how at first it's not very intense. The reindeer's just kind of going. Then he picks up the pace a little bit. And I'm thinking, oh man, that's some goddamn good television right there. Reindeer pulling a man in a sled. And then the reindeer just fucking comes to a halt and refuses to continue playing the enabler here. He's like, I had enough of this. Like, Steve-O's sitting in the cart, like egging him on, like, come on, let's go, buddy. Come on. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's funny how you say that, Mikey, because it's as we'll see as we get more into the WildBoyz episodes. This was at a time in between Jackass movies, and it got to the point where Johnny Knoxville was just so jealous that they were doing fun shit like this that they said he just kind of just like was always around after that. Like he was always on the WildBoyz trips and Wee Man, and you'll see a lot of the guys get involved, but it's just Johnny had that yearning to film.
Oh, that's amazing.
And
I didn't know that.
So he just kind of wanted to get that vibe back. So he just rolled with the WildBoyz for a while.
Nice.
He's in a ton of episodes as it goes on. So are
that.
some of the other guys.
I was excited. I saw a couple clips with him, and I thought, oh, no, that was kind of wish that wasn't spoiled for me, but pretty cool.
Yeah, they were doing shit, and he was like, Jeff Tremaine's like, if you guys want to do this gnarly shit, like, and Johnny particularly, in a lot of different kind of spin-offs and things like that, he's like, fucking save the shit, let's do another movie, like don't waste the shit on a fucking TV show. And that's what that type of shit is what ended up making them make, I'm assuming it's probably Jackass 2, because, or maybe it was Jackass 3, one of them, but they needed to kind of get this out, especially Johnny, so they just decided to make another movie.
Totally. Guys, what episode of WildBoyz would be complete without some good old-fashioned fart humor? We got a huge, I'm talking gigantic reindeer fart. And when they were zoomed in on the close-up for a couple seconds, I was trying to figure out, what is that I'm looking at? Then all of a sudden, this just fucking trumpet-like sound comes out of the asshole of the hairy beast. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And it just keeps going and going and going. This fart was actually long enough that if the three of us did like a fart relay race, I should probably explain what that is. Okay, so let's say Mikey, he's been eating bean burritos all day, according to him. So he would start the fart relay. Then when he feels like I can't,
he did fart on his microphone right before the episode
he
started.
did. I know.
And then he goes immediately regret it because it smelled, and he had to put his face close to the mic.
You guys aren't supposed to peel back the curtain. That was just for you
peeling
guys.
it back. Mikey starts. He goes until he can't hold out any longer, or he shits his pants. Then Chris has to jump in, and then I'm on the last leg there. And I honestly think like we still might not even be able to beat the reindeer at his own game, even with that.
Yeah,
that's how long this fart was.
Those.
We should try and do a fart relay race one day for the episode on our Patreon if we ever launch one of them.
But the only problem is all those other reindeer won't let us play in their reindeer games. So I don't know if we're going to even be allowed to take part in this fart relay race.
Oh. I hate you so much sometimes.
I learned something today from this reindeer segment, though, boys. I learned that Manny he dislikes cold water. He dislikes cold water.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the next segment. We're not quite there yet, but you see, the boys are going on a bear hunt. They're gonna get into the water with the bears, and it's just kind of like I'm thinking, how the fuck are they gonna pull this off? Because anytime you've heard anything with bears and bear-related safety, it's always like all these things about, don't turn your back on them, don't intimidate them, don't try to challenge them on their grounds, all these things. It feels like they're doing the opposite of everything you're not supposed to do, and they're in the water at the same time. But hey, this segment would not be complete without a couple bear facts. Bear facts. This is Steve-O. He says every time a bear kills someone, he plants a tree to memorialize the kill and to honor the victim.
And the bear's really helping regenerate the the forest and the rainforest or whatever.
Steve-O says it helps with the conversation of the rainforest.
Instead of conservation, is that what he meant?
And you hear someone off screen after a little pause, and he says, conservation. As though he's tried like 4 times and got it wrong every time.
My favorite part is when he says like, and as you could look, he was like, if you look around here, you could tell these bears are really dangerous.
Yeah, because there's so many trees.
There's so many trees.
Yeah.
I love that shit. It's just that silliness.
Sorry, Mikey.
You know what actually sketched me out more than the idea of hanging out with bears in this? I think I'd actually probably rather do that than what they do, which is as they're on the airplane before it's about to take off, they look into the camera, and I know they're quoting a song, but they say, "This plane is definitely crashing." Would you ever do that on an air? Would you ever do that on an airplane?
I was on a flight, maybe not before. Remember how scared I was when we were in Africa? I had a dream that we were in a horrific plane crash, and I actually died in my dream. So anyone that says you can't die in your dream, that's fucking bullshit. You go into this dark place, and then you're just in this like weird, scary place that sucks. It's like purgatory of just darkness. Anyways, we're leaving one place, and then turns out we
Chris,
have to go
you just described my day-to-day life.
Fair enough. You just riled me off my train of thought because it got really dark, literally. But yeah, so we're getting up. Our parents didn't tell us the itinerary as a surprise, and then we go to this place, and we had to get on this the tiniest little plane I've ever been in, and I was shitting fucking bricks. I'm like, I just had a dream that we crash, and we have to go in this thing, and I'm not scared of flying at all. I was like shaking and sweating, and everyone was like, "Are you all right?" My mom swiped some Jameson bottles from like the mini fridge from the last place, and she's like, "Here, take a few of these." Slammed a few back, but I was convinced we were going down that day, so I was like trying to make the best out of it. But I wouldn't say that. No,
I wouldn't say. I honestly wouldn't. Like, just for I'm not even that superstitious, but I just wouldn't. Like, why tempt fate? Why do that? It would just. They're brave, man. Jay, are you with us on this, or you don't give a fuck?
I don't think I'd want to tempt fate either, but really, I don't know, man. It's Steve-O and Pontius, Even if they died, they would go down in like a fucking standing 69 or some shit, laughing their asses off.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't let it
because
phase
no one's
them.
wilder than the WildBoyz, and that's a wild thing to say.
Chris, in your story, you said that your parents put you on a plane with a mystery itinerary. Could you imagine someone doing that to you? Come on, I'll pay for the flight. You get on the flight, you can go to a mystery destination. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but you get on the plane, I'll pay for it. All right. So they get you on there, they blindfold you. You're waiting for 6 hours. And then finally they take it off, and you get to find out, well, where are we? Where are we going? Bermuda Triangle. Ah, shit, Bermuda Triangle.
Oh.
Son of a
what,
bitch.
Though, honestly, what I will say about that is at least if something happens, you get the answer to the question of what the fuck is going on with the
That's a
Bermuda
really
Triangle.
good point. I used
Yeah,
to like
at
go to
least
the
you know.
library and take out books on the Bermuda Triangle. Like I was fascinated by it as a kid.
Yeah.
I hear there's some
Yeah.
smoke monsters hanging out down there and all sorts of weird time-based.
It's an alien magnetic field for
Plots
sure
and-
that enters a different timeline, and there's like there's
for sure.
wormholes and shit.
Yeah.
Like no,
for
like
sure.
100%.
No, I know,
You can hear
100%
this-
for sure.
And,
Whatever.
That's no.
You're
no,
mocking me, but
with-
it's 100% wormholes and a weird anti-gravity field that is ellipsing MC squared guy. What's his name? MC squared?
Einstein.
Einstein.
I
So
was
it's
gonna say
basically
MC squared.
they proved the theory of relativity
Yeah,
because of the wormholes in
wormholes.
the Bermuda Triangle.
I agree 100%.
so
And that
I think
is-
it's factual,
Yeah,
and I
no,
think
no,
you can
think?
prove it.
No, it's proven.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm agreeing with you
Okay.
because I know, like, I'm pretty. I
Don't
think
be pretty
you're-
sure. When there's facts, there's facts. It
Yeah,
only
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. So
Yeah,
whatever.
I know, and I know it's a fact because that alien guy with the big hair said it on Discovery Channel.
He
or
did.
Discovery Channel.
on Ancient Aliens, that fucking guy.
So this still doesn't explain why Hurley is on the cover of that Weezer album. What's that all about?
Hurley from Lost.
Yeah, yeah, Hurley from Lost.
I didn't know he was on a Weezer album, but yeah. So yeah, like we said, E does equal MC squared.
Yes,
It's official.
Guy. As
yes.
you put it, EMC squared guy.
So back to bears, boys. How the hell did we get over there?
I don't know, dude, but coastal brown bears are big fucking dudes. Big boys.
Scary
Yes.
bastards.
And they find this family, a female and cubs, out in the water. And this is where we get more of the what I was talking about earlier. This is basically the death sentence. Manny swims into the water. Steve-O is out there in the boat waiting just in case something goes wrong. He says, if I have to, I will jump in and rescue my friend in an emergency. And Pontius, he offers a solid plan C, offering to shout slurs at the bear from the boat in case, that's needed.
Well, because
Guys.
Steve-O's dressed up as a bear, and he's basically going to go tell the bear, like he's saying that he as a bear is going to go tell the bear to fucking get in line.
I want to introduce a new segment to our show. It's a little
okay.
trivia segment, testing
love it.
your guys' knowledge of
Hey,
animals
Chris,
and wildlife.
why don't
I
you
love
test
The show is
these
called-
nuts?
Oh, you son of testes.
That's good too.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, this segment's called Hand Jobs by Chris. If any of you guys could answer the question of this right, I will give you guys a hand job if you want.
Okay, if we want.
I mean, hopefully you
kind
don't,
of
Mikey, unless
prize?
you're watching that fucking Step Brother
When have
porn,
you-
like I know you are.
When have you ever been in a competition where it's, and first prize, a Lamborghini?
The hand job from Chris.
If you want. If you don't want it, it's
If
fine.
you want.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
fucking leave it here.
Whatever. I don't know. So the question is, what is the difference between a grizzly bear and a brown bear, if there is any?
What is the difference between a grizzly bear and a brown bear?
One of them gives really good hand jobs. The other does not.
I mean, it'd be a little, you're worried about toothy blowjobs. Talk about clawy hand jobs.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know
Is-
the real answer to this question.
You're not allowed to Google, Mikey. I saw you typing there, you son of a
No,
bitch.
I'm not. No, I'm making it. No, this is. I'm making a note
I
for
only
another thing.
realized,
Is it a male female thing?
No. So
Okay.
basically, all grizzly bears are brown bears. But the difference is the brown bears, like you just mentioned earlier, are the coastal bears. So they feed up on salmon. They're a lot fatter. But the grizzly bears are actually pushed inland. So they're not. That's why they're a lot more aggressive and dangerous, is because they don't have that same access to salmon and stuff like that. And that's why they're more grizzled. That's the name grizzly bear.
Totally
So
makes sense.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
there's not
I
not
love
all
this
not all.
segment.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love this. You should do this more. Honestly,
I'm going to do it
this
every
isn't
once
the
in a
Bermuda
while.
Triangle thing.
I just
like
want to
this.
make sure it's a tough question for you, so I don't actually have to give anyone a hand job. Because
Yeah.
there's one thing about Chris: he's a man of his word.
Man, I only just realized after saying that one of the bears gives better hand jobs is that I should have went with one of the bears. One of them gives better anal, because just the funny. I don't know. It's just somehow thinking of a bear fucking a bear in the ass is funny. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
We got a
I think you should have stuck with the first one.
no. I mean, just think about it.
Okay.
Like, we're not going there. It's fine.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's Google bear fucking bear in the ass, and I'm sure
Well,
it'll have something to do with
there's
animals.
a beautiful joke in there
What was that movie?
about
Super Troopers, when it's like, is that guy fucking a bear? Remember they had the costume out and it distracted
Yeah,
guys?
yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
All right.
Sorry to derail the
Well,
podcast for that. Listen, guys. when you're fucking around with bears, you got to take this shit seriously. I mean, we see the bear diving in the water for some salmon, like hunting, and Manny's, he's swimming closer and closer to it, and then it emerges out of the water and kind of growls at Manny a little bit, but ultimately leaves him alone. I kind of feel like, she wasn't too agitated here. This was kind of more of a last box of corn pops at the supermarket kind of situation. We both saw that shit at the same time, but I'm going to be the first one to take my shirt off and start rubbing the shake and bake chicken mix all over my body and screaming for a price check.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. I've seen this happen. You're that guy from the YouTube video? I didn't know that.
I have my pops.
The two things I got a lot out of this is like, how fucking scared would you be when you see it? It's like they're like, it's going under, it's going up. Where is it? Yes. And it pops up in that full scary bear posture right in front of you, and like you could just tell it's pretty intense. And then the second thing was, we talked about how Manny actually doesn't like the cold water. It's like I feel like they meant to do this skit earlier, and then they actually had to go and get him a wetsuit so he was able to tolerate the cold water, because he came out with like this like decked out sick ass wetsuit, which they didn't have before.
I think that actually makes sense because they all had the wetsuit on. I also just think like you can't go in that water without a wetsuit. Like it's as close to freezing as it can get. Like I just don't think they would have been advised to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a ball shrinker. Definitely.
But the best suit, never mind the wetsuit. The best suit was Steve-O's suit. Him floating around in an inner tube was just adorable. I wanted to take him home and give him craft dinner. I wanted to pet him on his little bear head, and I wanted to let him roll around on a little multicolor circus ball with a tutu on. He was so cute. I loved it.
Boys, I think I feel another one coming on. You feel that? You feeling it? It's a bear fact.
Bear facts.
Grizzly bears are more known and feared than black bears, but black bears are more unpredictable. It's not often a grizzly fights back at a black bear. Steve-O is a grizzly bear, keep in mind. But he says he will if he has to, so don't fuck with Steve-O, I guess.
I would still take a grizzly bear in a fight against a black bear.
100%. Sure. Do you ever see that video on YouTube where the fucking, it's like this, like, it's on this huge kind of like hill in the middle of the forest, like such dense forest, and a grizzly bear chases a black bear up a tree, and a fucking black bear just like shimmies up that tree so fast. And people say grizzlies don't climb. Fuck, this thing's right after them. They're like 40 feet high in this small little tree. It's like waving, and they're coming at each other. Remind me, I'll post that video to our Instagram page because it is a gnarly video. When you get the perspective of how fast these fucking things are, there's black bear, grizzly bear. They're all scary. Black bears are pretty chill. Grizzlies will fuck you up. Either one of them.
Don't fuck with bears.
Especially if their cubs are around. And they kept mentioning that. They're like, we aren't in between the bear and its cubs, so we should be fine. But that black bear seemed like he had a bit of a fucking attitude problem.
Yeah, fuck him.
And by black bear, I mean like that's just the bear that it is. It has nothing to do with any race or anything like that.
No, it's not a larger gay man of some ethnicity that like, we're not. That's not what we're saying. We get that they're in Alaska in the river, Chris. We know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't see fur colored. I just don't see it. Doesn't register to me, man.
Are we even allowed to call them black bears anymore?
Do the carpets match the drapes?
Ooh.
Jay doesn't know.
I don't know.
He doesn't see.
But now you just
color.
got me thinking of later in this episode. It's actually coming up right now, but that's perfect timing. Pontius says in 1782 the bald eagle was chosen to represent the USA for its characteristics of majestic beauty and strength. Pontius equates this to a well-groomed woman's undercarriage. Hence the bald eagle. And when you said, does the carpet match the drapes, I just pictured a bear that's just fully fucking hair and then a smoothly shaven patch. It's like a landing strip, you know? I mean, just a big dick. Big fucking bear.
Oh my God, that's a funny visual.
I guess we can get into this thing though, but here's a fact. I'll throw a fact at you guys.
Mm-hmm. Wait, who gets the hand job?
I get the hand job if anyone
Mikey,
gets it right.
For this one, if you do get it right, you can't refuse the hand job. It's not a if you want to situation. It's like,
I have to get it. If someone gets it right, Chris has to give me a hand job.
Wait,
okay, I like
Nobody
this.
was saying that, you fucking weirdo.
Huh?
Yeah, you're
okay. Then I don't want to
weird
ask the question. Then fuck it. I don't want to ask the question. If you guys are,
Mike, you know you're only 20 minutes away from me. I will be at your house.
Chris's Pornhub
in my
theory
Knight Rider
is holding a little more water here. That's all I'm saying.
So here's my question.
What the fuck you doing?
The sound that we all know as the American eagle screech. Yes. Did you know that's not an eagle? Did you know that?
No, that was it.
I know that was me.
I know. Yeah, you almost had me for a second too. Thanks, Chris.
Oh, I gotta get a better camera. Mikey, how's your camera not make your face turn as red as mine? This is brutal. I always look like a tomato. Spaghetti.
Well, that's a good question. No, it's a peregrine falcon.
Oh, I fucking love those animals. You know what? The Sky Dome in
Mikey.
Toronto.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes.
They have paradigm falcons that live there to scare away all the fucking seagulls so the seagulls don't fly onto the field.
Yep.
Pretty fucking badass.
They also have them at airports to avoid seagulls getting caught in engines and stuff like that.
So, okay. So if that's not the sound of a bald eagle, then what is?
They actually have kind of like a little wuss. Like they sound a lot more wuss-like.
No,
than
that's
you
not
would think.
true. I watched
Yeah,
a
it
show
is.
where they were hunting with fucking golden eagles. And
How dare you
they
disrespect
sounded like
America? You unpatriotic son of a
Exactly. I'm fucking sitting out here trying to make America great again. You're just trying to fucking bring it back down.
Hey, guys.
Fucking guy.
Settle down. I think we all need to take a time out, head to the most northern point of Alaska, and
All right.
think back to grade 1. You remember parachute? You ever play parachute in grade 1? You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
hell yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
This is like
what
reverse parachute, dude. Ours,
Yeah,
we
totally.
hid under it. This is like fucking launching people up, man. This is badass.
Yeah, and Steve
I actually fucking had so much fun with this segment.
Steve-O gets on a skateboard and they're launching him up, which is pretty cool. I think that's a great way to do it. But I got to ask you guys both, did you find it weird that they're going to these remote places? They're obviously traveling, extra to get these shots, but I'm actually surprised at how much or how little footage there is for some of these shoots. Like the blanket toss thing lasts
You know why?
10 seconds, and then they're out of there and you never see it again. It's weird.
You know why? I can almost guarantee you why, and I'm not even joking about this. Almost all those populations of those like northern Inuit communities, they're all dry areas. There's no booze allowed whatsoever. And you think fucking
shit.
Steve-O at that time of his life was trying to hang
True.
around there for long? Yeah, there's like no booze allowed, like in all these little villages and shit. So they, there's actually a huge market. Like a bottle of vodka would cost like $500.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. I watched that Alaskan State Troopers show. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Well,
So we should say that the blanket toss is usually done traditionally to celebrate a hunt,
Yes.
a successful hunt. Obviously, no successful hunt here, so they bring the skateboards onto it, and it was fucking wicked. It was so goddamn cool. I loved it.
We used to do that. Do you remember when we'd take the trucks
on
off
the
our
trampoline.
skateboard and bring it on the trampoline? It was so much fun.
yeah, that's always a great time. That's the only way
Until you get sacked.
That's the only way I could fake skateboarding.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ugh.
totally. I know. But, we got to keep on rolling, boys. We have a lot to get to left. We got the humpback whale here. Now, Pontius does not want to scar the ears of women and young children, bringing up the kids again, so he's not going to make any dirty jokes about humping. 10 seconds later, literally 10 seconds later, he's already mentioning the humpback's huge tallywhacker. Much more than any man
again,
could take.
tallywhacker.
Yeah.
It's the word of the day.
But Larry Dupler is here, and he's a captain, so don't you fucking forget it. He says that they feed primarily on krill, and every time they open their mouth, 15,000 gallons of water go in there. That's what I call a deep throat, boys. And we're here for a segment, though.
Sign me up.
These are the Jackass boys after all, so we got to have some sort of sketch, and we certainly do. We're going to imitate exactly what these humpback whales do on a daily basis. The throats may not be as deep, but the stunt is just as disturbing to me anyways. It's a raw krill shot. Seawater krill right down the hatch. It's just nasty to watch, man. I just could taste it.
This brings up
watching
another
it,
question. This brings up another question. And it's good because they didn't even talk about this. What is the teeth or filtration thing called that the humpback whales use when they take in the water and spit out the krill?
A clam dam.
No.
Damn.
But nice joke. Starts with
it's
a B.
Ballast? No.
Baleen.
Baleen, right.
I don't know how the hell I
right,
remember
right.
that shit, but I am the science guy.
Yeah.
It's fucking bringing it back.
That's the only reason you
Bring
did
it back.
that.
All right. We're in competition now. This one, I honestly, the idea of this one was so funny. I love that they did this. It's so dumb and it was very low rent, but it was really funny to watch them try to take the shot back, spit out the water, And especially like Manny through his actual beard, which looked fucking gross. And then to eat the krill, and Jeff being such a shit disturber, Jeff Tremaine, just sitting there way in the back as they're suffering with a mouthful of salt water and raw krill, hands in his pocket. He's just like, "Hey, they don't chew, they don't have teeth." As though, like, just make it worse on them. Like they're doing their best to get through, and he's just trying to be a little shit.
You don't see Pontius this like close to puke. He's not like the puker of the group. You know what I mean? He usually sucks it up and takes it down. Like you can tell, this was not fucking pleasant for him whatsoever. And that made this so much better. He was just really struggling with it, and he was trying to fight it for so long. And it's like, when you're trying to fight the puke, and then psychologically it just builds up past the point you could deal with it. That's what made this for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel you. It was a good, like you said, Mikey, low rent stunt that I think actually added a lot. As gross as it was, there was a part where Pontius was just kind of going like, and Manny's like, don't make that kind. Like he was offended. Like, don't make that kind of noise. That's not how they sound.
You're going to insult our whale hosts.
Maybe that
here.
was
They
fucking.
prepared you
Maybe
a
that was
fine
Tremaine.
meal.
What was that line they said at the end? Like,
what?
There's something about like, you know what? We're like one with the animals. This is going to insert this clip at some point because I'm going to butcher it, but it was kind of a funny clip at the end where it's like, this was a good day for science. It's like we understand the way, some along those lines. It was absolutely hilarious.
Science, we're heading back to the tundra to chase some caribou. Naked bums. This is becoming a recurring theme. We had it in the first episode. They're doing it again, chasing some animals. We're heading to the Fairbanks of Alaska next, though, boys, for what is probably my favorite part of the entire episode, personally.
This is awesome.
This is
awesome.
And their words, not mine. I know some of these terms are outdated now. So disclaimer ahead of time, not trying to offend anybody here, but this is what they call the home of World Eskimo Indian Olympics. Carol Pickett is here, and she is our guide through the events. And we start off with the first Canadian-style 1-foot high kick. Wait a minute. Says who? Huh? Canadian style. Have you ever done this in your lives, boys? A ball on a string suspended above you. How high can you kick?
It's funny you say that. There's a bar by where we used to go called the Honest Lawyer, and they had these like, it wasn't like a ball on a thing, but where the parking thing went, is like a car barrier type thing where it's like, so trucks don't go through there or whatever. And I came out of the bar just absolutely fucking blasted, and I was convinced that I could jump and fucking kick the top of it. And fucking my friends are like, yeah, go for it, sure thing. And I tried to do that scissor kick type thing. Dude, I if the thing was 6 feet tall, I maybe got three feet high and just fucking ate shit on my back so hard. Someone has it on video somewhere, man. I wish I could have that. Oh,
that's amazing.
That's
amazing.
Complete, utter failure.
Yeah.
This would definitely not be my one. This is it. Basically, you have to jump and kick a high target and then land on the leg that you've kicked
but
with.
If you had the stretching that Pontius provided for Steve-O, I think it would really help limber you up.
I think that would help.
What position was
just
that?
watching this like,
sorry, which position?
I want to learn. I want to do it
because you had asshole to air for one of them, and then the other guy was kind of
asshole. That's like a
with his face.
You know what that is? That's an
how he
asshole 69.
Yeah, that's kind of like what that was.
That's an ass eating 69 position.
Yeah, you and Topanga.
It actually
really.
Yeah, I use that on
fucking ordering a hooker this weekend.
Got to try some stuff out.
I was watching this, just thinking the whole time, like, imagine Steve-O goes and beats the record.
Yeah, right.
He
was pretty good.
Did really good.
He was really good.
There was a point in time where I was thinking, like, what if he breaks one of these records, or like, it would be so embarrassing to them. But obviously not. I mean, they train in this. But I feel like if you gave him a couple weeks, he might actually be able to compete.
I think, Mikey, if you win gold in these Olympics, the last year's winner will give you a hand job. Or if you don't want it, it's okay. You can turn it down too. So that's
from Carol Pickett.
Yeah,
she was sexy, as they like to say.
I gotta say though, this event is basically the high jump of kicking. That's all it is. They raise the ball a little bit every fucking time to fuck with you and see how high you can go before you split a fucking groin muscle or some shit. I don't know, man. I think I'd be really fucking bad at this, so I'd probably stay the hell away from it.
I would be awful at this.
But we got to move on because there's more events here. Humor, boys, is a big... Oh, sorry, hold on. We're not getting to the humor one yet.
No, we got the grip strength.
So let's do that. Indian stick pole is what it's called.
It's literally a fucking dildo grab, just holding onto a dick real hard. As they saw when Carol was lubing it up, they all had to do a little chuckle.
Imagine being Carol trying to lube this up in front of them, like knowing that the joke is coming and there's nothing she could do to stop it
the
anyway.
Jokes do come pretty quick. You know, Steve-O says he's been playing with this one for a long time, so he's practiced up.
Yeah.
But first,
you know who came up with that? This thing.
Yeah.
There was actually a song about him by Tenacious D, the only gay Eskimo in his tribe.
That's not Tenacious D.
That was Tenacious D, for sure. I'm the only gay Eskimo.
Wasn't that Hootie and the Blowfish?
No, of course not. Hootie and the Blowfish was a real band.
Well, today's
100%. I saw the skit on Saturday Night Live or something like that where they actually performed
Wasn't it Mad TV?
No, maybe, but it was definitely.
Oh no, it is.
Before I knew who
Tenacious D. You're
was.
right.
Yeah,
You're
100%
right.
it was.
Huh. Well,
thanks for ruining my joke by getting all fucking real on me.
No, I thought it was Corky and the Juice Pigs. I always get that name.
It probably was. It was definitely Corky and the Juice Pigs.
For some reason, I get Corky and the Juice Pigs and Hootie and the Blowfish mixed up.
It
all
was
the
definitely
time.
Corky and the Juice Pigs.
that is a
You're
name
right.
I've
There we
never
go.
heard
All right.
before. Corky and the Juice Pig.
Oh man,
Look that up. But first you scissor. That's kind of how you start for this. At least these guys choose to kind of get into almost a scissor position. They get so close, the ref actually tells them, "You got to back it off. You know, we're gonna get a ref down here, boys."
too
One,
close.
Could you ask for a better challenge for fucking the WildBoyz to partake in and have to do a series? Like, this was so good.
Yeah. So you just pull on a greasy stick. Whoever's got the best grip strength wins, essentially, right? It's pretty straightforward. But I said a moment ago that humor is a big part of the Olympics here. That's why we're doing the butt hop. This was like a fun, totally innocent, just G-rated thing. And it was fun watching these guys hop around on their ass cheeks like a couple of... I don't know, just like a couple of kids on the playground or something. They're having a fucking great time.
Steve-O was doing the pump. It was like the butt chug pump, but he wasn't going anywhere, and he was getting so frustrated.
Yeah.
Like, he was doing that same movement he was doing with the butt chug, and he just was staying in the same spot and just gave up.
Because basically you sit on the ground and you have to hold each of your toes or your feet and like scoot your way only by hopping on your butt to the finish line. I was so surprised. Steve-O sucked at this. Like, he was not good. I expected him to be better, like more athletic, and or in that. You know how Steve-O's just athletic in those weird ways.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I expected.
Yeah, you think he would be good on that?
You know?
Yeah. Actually, I expected him to do better at the next one. I'm so surprised he lost the next one.
Yes, I was surprised as well, Mikey. This is the final event, the ear pull, and this is an endurance game. How much pain can you handle? It's a tightly wound string, and each contestant sits in front of each other with that string in a loop around one ear, and then your opponent does the same around their ear. So basically, you just pull your head back as hard as you can. Your opponent does the same, and it's basically who can last the longest. And the ear is, as we know,
that looks
pretty
rough,
fucking
man.
sensitive skin, right? So that can't feel good having that shit digging in. But Steve-O's grunting pretty hard, pretty quickly too. He's going up against Carol here, is he not? I believe, and she's doing pretty fucking good.
No. He's going up against a younger woman.
Oh, is it?
Like someone, definitely not Carol. Yeah. It's someone who like is like a kid. And I was like, there's no way a kid is going to beat Steve-O in terms of just sheer pain tolerance.
Yeah, no, it's a shocker for me for sure. He didn't win. He gave up. But there you go. That's Steve-O's one weakness, I guess. The ear pull.
The ear pull, exactly.
And
it's funny though. I feel like he can take a lot of pain, but when it comes to like it not being a stunt and him just being able to say no to it, he'll do it.
I feel
like
sorry,
he could definitely take more pain than the person he was up against. It was baffling to me.
It must have been like, I feel, you hear about him. He got in a lot of trouble in school and shit as a kid, and I had a feeling that like ear pull, like the teachers used to do back in the day, probably just was like a triggering experience for him.
Yeah,
very well.
It's like, I can't handle this anymore. Just regressed him to his like childhood days.
So that takes us to the end of the Olympics, and Pontius says, now we need to find out which one is the better lover, because Carol is hot. And, they're just the three of them there, Steve-O, Carol and Pontius. And honestly, like right as he was saying this, I was thinking as they were leading up to that line, looking at the three of them on camera there, man, they're probably going to go and bang after this. Like you could just tell there was some fucking chemistry or some shit going on there.
I actually felt super awkward when he said that. Like, she was gorgeous, but it just felt like I don't know, maybe I misread her reaction to it, but she looked really uncomfortable when he did say that.
No, she wanted some of fucking Pontius' caribou cock in a heartbeat.
I can't say either, but I don't know. Maybe they did bang. Maybe they didn't. Probably doesn't matter a whole lot. But you know what does matter, boys? And you can't end an episode of anything really without the money shot. It's always the money shot at the end. Everybody knows that. It's a time-tested
And what
formula.
a money shot this is.
And what a money shot this is. Now, it's time to blow a load of salmon eggs into Steven? Did I just call him Steven? Fuck
Steven.
it. Steven.
Steven Glover.
Steven, here comes, baby.
Stephen
Is his name Steven Glover?
Is that his real name?
I don't
I
know.
think his last name's Glover. Yeah,
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Glover.
I'd bet a hand job on it.
Okay.
Stephen Gilchrist Glover. You're right.
Shit. So wait.
Oh,
you bet a
here's-
hand job.
here's-
It doesn't matter. What's up, man?
Yeah, do you have to give me a hand job now?
That's yeah.
Can I go with you, Jay? I don't want to do the brother on brother thing. I'm sorry. I know I roped you into this, but I'm going to rope onto your wrist after that.
Let's watch a salmon rope onto Steve-O. Jay, why don't you walk us through it? goes on in the stunt.
It's funny you say that because, well, you'll see. So, okay. Yeah, maybe I blew the load a little early. I could have saved that as a surprise, but yes, it's going to happen. But first, we have to get a mouthful of eggs into Steve-O ASAP, because if that's not there, well, this fish. How's the fish going to know to shoot? Shoot the ropes. You need the eggs. So they get.
Well, I think it's also important to set up that the reason they're doing this is to protect the population of salmon. It's a very noble effort that they're putting forth here.
This, right? I mean,
that's pleasure clearly, but this one is also for science.
So Steve-O opens wide, and they have this female fish who's just ready to explode eggs. This is her last chance at passing on her genetic material and having little fish babies. And most
You know
of them
what throw you off about that?
What's that?
Sorry. I've had those, like the roll at sushi where it's literally the salmon eggs, but it's cold. As you know, like if you ever peed into a water bottle, you're so shocked at how warm your pee is when you're like holding the water bottle.
Yeah,
so you're kind of
true.
expecting a cold sushi type salmon egg, and you're going to be getting this hot, warm.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be the hardest part about that, because we've all eaten like raw salmon eggs all the time. It's not a big deal, but that warmth would be disgusting.
But aren't fish cold blooded? Like I think it probably would be chilled. No.
It's got like a mini fridge in there.
Well, it wouldn't be like hot,
I
or
would
like
hope
warm.
not.
I think it would be pretty cold.
Well, let's fact
Let's
check
find
it for next
out.
episode and
Let's
come back.
let's find out. Let's
the
find
winner
out.
of this podcast gets a money shot from a salmon. That's what Steve-O did, and it fucking like the eggs go everywhere. They're dropping them on his head because he gets a mouthful pretty quick. Like there's more eggs than I
There's so
thought.
many.
Like that surprised me. They're just dropping all over his face, and I'm thinking, okay, well that was fun. And then Pontius just kind of fucking stumbles into the shot awkwardly, and he just comes in. He says, "It's time to mix it with the sperm." Like he's just ready to fucking go. He's got the fish like dick out. He's like upside down, and he's just, all he has to do is hold this thing up to the vicinity of the eggs, just general area, and it starts shooting. It's like it's got a sensor built in there or something. It's
I'm so surprised.
He
Well,
tripped it,
both these fish were dead, right?
were
I don't
they
think
dead?
so.
I don't know.
I think they were
I'm
alive.
pretty sure both these fish were. I'm pretty sure both these fish were dead, and he squeezes the stomach to get the eggs out. And I was so surprised that all he had to do was squeeze the stomach of the salmon, and it just comes.
That's what
Like,
all
that
my
was-
girlfriends say. Little belly
I gotta
rub for
s-
Chris.
I gotta say about this one though, like step 2 is awful.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
felt nauseous watching
Well-
it. Step 1 wouldn't be that bad. We pay to have salmon
I thought you
eggs
were gonna say salmon coming.
on sushi all the time. Well, some people pay for step 2 as well, I guess, but I'm not as interested in that.
A salmon bukkake.
Well, yeah. The thing about this isn't only a salmon bukkake. If Mikey's theory holds any water, this is a necrophiliac salmon bukkake.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
gross.
So
That's not good. And also, it can't be a bukkake if it's just one salmon. Let's be real.
Yeah. You think when the camera cut, they didn't add a few more in just for fun?
Yeah.
I'm just glad Steve-O didn't decide to do a cream pie. That's all I'm saying. Listen,
Oh.
it's a money shot. And when I say that, you're thinking, oh, okay, it's kind of like it resembles it. No, it's like he's got
No, this
lines.
is Peter North in his finest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Steve-O pukes, and Pontius says, "That's a facial," and that's all you need. At this point, Steve-O looks at the camera and says, "It's a small price to pay." He pauses, and at this point, I'm just thinking, for what? And then he continues, oh, for the continuation of the species, for science. Right. I must have forgot what I was watching there for a second.
Yeah. It was a very noble effort. I'm glad they did it. I didn't want to be the one to do it. I would have done step 1, but I wouldn't be there for step 2. It wouldn't do. But I remember when they were squeezing the eggs, I was like, how are there so many fucking eggs in the salmon? There were so many eggs. And then I found out why, and that's because there was so much cum in the other salmon. I guess you just have to even each other out, but it was just, there was so fucking much.
You said there's so much
like, it
cum
didn't
in
stop.
the other salmon. Like, I just pictured
There
you
was
go to a
so much
restaurant
cum.
and you have to
He
send
must
your,
have been eating a
send
lot of
your,
celery.
send your dish back because, waiter, there's a lot of cum in this salmon.
There's too much cum in my salmon.
You know?
And there's a fly in the soup, but that's not as important as how much cum there is on my
I don't know what's
salmon.
wrong with me today. I'm sorry, everybody. This one felt like, boys, this episode is over, but this really felt like a trip up a large mountain. We needed to take breaks for oxygen every now and then. Some of us didn't make it along the way. We weren't even sure if we were going to be able to come back down, but somehow we did it.
Stop saying cum. Stop saying cum. We've had enough of that.
I can't stop thinking about it. Like, that'd be a great time for, a significant other to come in right on that frame. Just a grown man with fish cum all over his face. Hey, it's all for the podcast. And
we do it for you guys.
We're just trying to run a business here. Let's take this out. You guys got anything more to say about season 1, episode 2 of WildBoyz?
Not really. I liked it though. I liked it. I love Alaska. I love that landscape. I think there was a good mix of comedy and education in this one.
Yes.
I had a good time. I loved it. I love our wilderness in Canada, and I think Alaska's is fairly similar in some regards. And it's nice to see wildlife that's a little bit closer to home as opposed to what you usually see, which is in Africa or somewhere very far away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get an episode like this is a nice in between because the stunts weren't maybe as intense, but it just felt like a more of a nature show, which is what I love about this program in general is you just don't know what you're going to get to expect, and you get a little bit of both all the time. Sometimes leaning more one way, sometimes the other. But I had a great time watching this episode.
Definitely.
Well, that's it for another episode. Shall we go off with maybe a quick question segment? Did we ask a question last week? I can't remember if we did that or not.
Yeah, we're still catching up a little bit on the questions, so I think let's take a break for a week of asking them and let people catch up. Just because of some of our schedules. For the listener, if you're not aware, we had to record some of these in advance, but we will catch up and we'll get a little bit more one-to-one as we go, and we'll start to post these questions on our Instagram as well, so that you can have multiple different ways of chiming in as opposed to just tweeting at us or sending us an email. But feel free to do that at Jackast Pod, both on Instagram and Twitter, and jackaspod@gmail.com.
Although I was going to say this could have been the perfect opportunity to have listeners create a Pornhub category of their own, because we certainly just did. But hey, that's optional. We're not going to read them. But if you want to if you just want to tweet at us with no context, your favorite Pornhub category, and we won't respond.
I almost created a new genre of a Pornhub category this week when I was hunting. I was sitting in the bush for so long, not moving, trying to be as quiet as possible, sitting in an area.
Good time to rub
and I was
out,
like, the sun, exactly. The sun's beating down on me. Nothing's around. I got time to kill, and I figured I should probably rub one out right now and just, make the best of it. I didn't. And then what I realized, which I didn't know, which would have been really fucking bad, is the trail cam we had set up was right above me. And good old Scotty from the French River would have seen an interesting video of me rubbing one out in nature. So
that's amazing.
Big fat hunting men in the middle jerk off in the wilderness. That would be a good category.
Yeah, but it's got to be on.
How about to bring us full circle, white bear jerks off in woods?
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
White bear. You old white bear, you. All right. We got to sign off. That's it. We had some fun today. We had some laughs. Thank you for joining us for another episode. Next week, we'll be flipping back over to check out what's going on with Bam Margera and the crew. What will he do next? It's season 1, episode 2 of Viva La Bam. Until then, whoever fucks this part up gets a hand job. Bye. I'm Jason Wellwood.
Bye. I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Bye, I'm Mikey Aaronworth, and this has been Jackast.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it!
This was a Press X for Sound audio production.